Now, here in Nigeria, there's widespread concern and confusion after the state oil firm NNPC hiked petrol prices as high as 557 naira per litre from 189 naira. The steep rise came just days after the new president, Bola Tinubu, said fuel subsidies would be scrapped. The move sparked a scramble by motorists to fill up before prices jumped, causing queues across the country. The increase signals an end to the fuel subsidy regime that the NNPC says costs it $867 million every month. Nigerians are now bracing for higher transport fares, while businesses that rely on petrol generators, diesel as well, because the grid electricity supply is meager, face higher costs. Well, to look at this in more detail, I'm joined now by Arise Director of News and Politics Editor Sumner Sambo. Good to see you, Sumner. So clearly a tough start under the new Tinubu administration. What's the latest on this fuel situation?
The latest is that the fuel subsidy has come to an end. I mean, from all we've been hearing from government officials, including the group CEO of the National Oil Company, NNPC, they are insisting that this is the best for the market conditions that will guarantee the subsequent supply. And what the NNPC, through its GMD, group CEO Melekere, is saying is that, look, the subsidy just has to go because the funding of the subsidy itself has not been fully, operational. Just last year, there was about 6.7 trillion naira. About 6.3 trillion naira that was budgeted for it, and the government didn't fund majority of it. And then for 2023, it's 3.7 trillion naira that's been budgeted between January and now, and the federal government hasn't paid. And so Nigerians should understand that the oil company itself has been paying the subsidies without government funding. And so there's a limit to which it can continue doing that. And so if the government had not taken the decision, there would definitely be a problem. So Nigerians, from what we have seen, are also protesting in some areas, while others are showing understanding. In Edo State, in the
Midwest.
Yes, the Midwest or the south of the country, there were some protests today, people saying that, look, that price is too much, between 500 to 800 naira, while some are actually saying that what they can afford to pay is 210 naira per litre. But the group CEO of the NNPC had explained earlier that over time, with this new non-subsidy payment regime, that the competition within those who are within the sector will actually bring prices down. But for now, people will just have to keep paying the prices within the market conditions. The president himself hasn't spoken or said anything. That's the new president, Bola Tinubu. But from his surrogates that we're hearing, they are insisting that they will go ahead with this. But the House of Representatives, there's a committee that was set up to look into the subsidy payments and all of that. They today briefed the media where they said that, look, Nigerians should bear with the government, but what the NNPC and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency, NMDPRA, should do is to ensure that the marketers do not profiteer so much, ensure that the regulations are put in place, and that the government should invest more in compressed natural gas enabled buses so as to reduce the challenges by commuters.
Well, that's what I was going to talk to you about, because this subsidy is meant to insulate vulnerable people from hardship. I mean, is there any indication about how the Tinubu administration now plans to support the people who are poor and vulnerable? Because, I mean, as you said, so far he hasn't said anything about any measures to alleviate the plight of vulnerable people.
Yeah, I mean, what the government is left with right now is to ensure that the monies that were earlier budgeted for subsidies are pushed into other sectors. Transportation, like the House Committee has recommended. Previously, when we hear that subsidy is going to be removed or things like that will be done, or there will be regulation of the petroleum prices, the government will say that they will be investing in buses and all of that. And most times we don't see so much of them, or they are brought and put in Lagos and Abuja, and it just fizzles out. But this time around, people would want to see what the monies shifted from subsidy, will be used for. Education, the issues of boosting the economy, creating jobs and all of that. And then the most important thing that would a lot of Nigerians are expecting is transparency. openness, the issues of the refineries that are being built, the publicly owned refineries. We must see that the monies that were used for, rejigging these refineries actually go to work, and then for the other refineries that are coming into stream, including the Dangote refinery, they are put in such a situation whereby they ensure that when they start functioning, Nigerians will not lose out of it, because they are also supposed to serve the public. So in a nutshell, there's a lot of expectation for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he's an oil executive himself, having served in ExxonMobil and all of that. So there's this heightened expectation that he understands the industry, and then of course some of his family members have worked within this oil and gas industry, like Wale Tinubu. So the expectations are high that he knows what this industry is, and that he's going to provide a lasting solution that wouldn't make people to regret the subsidy removal.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. Sumner, thank you very much indeed.